jump right in. Out of all the bottled water companies in the entire world, there's only one that wants to go out of business, and that's us. And our reason for saying that is because we want to end the world's drinking water crisis. That's a ridiculously bold goal, obviously, but that's why we started Humankind Water. I always start out by asking people, is the water crisis the #1 issue in the world? I ask it as a question. I mean, obviously it's a debatable point. But there are 1 billion, almost 1 billion people in the world lack access to clean drinking water. That's 1 in 7 of us. It's worse for children and the elderly because their systems are more frail. 5,000 kids are going to die today for no other reason than they lack clean drinking water. It's worse than AIDS, malaria, and measles combined, and it's worse than all forms of violence, including war. When I started studying this, when I came to realize the problem, my background is not in business. I spent almost my entire adult life in youth ministry, and I had an opportunity with an organization called Compassion International to travel around the world and see firsthand the conditions that so many people live in. More than half the hospital beds in the entire world are filled with somebody who is sick or dying due to waterborne illness. I've seen thousands of pictures since we started learning about the situation, and there's something about this one, something about that little girl in Sierra Leone that made me angry. I got angry. I looked at that and I said, the year is 2014. At the time, the year was 2011. And we have everything that we need in terms of technology to get her clean drinking water. There is no reason for a kid to have to drink that kind of filthy water in our day and age. We just have to care enough to do something about it. I looked at these school kids in Africa. They're all wearing their school uniforms. They got their little blue shorts and their little maroon sweaters, and they're ready to go to their day of school. Look in the bottom right-hand corner of the picture. That's the water that they're forced to drink. That's not iced tea. That's disgusting. It's not whether or not you're going to get sick. It's when. It's not whether or not you're going to get sick. It's whether or not it's going to kill you. And for many it is, and it doesn't have to happen. And that's why we started Humankind Water. We give 100% of the net profits to fund wells and filtration systems in parts of the world where kids are dying without clean drinking water. That's the only reason why we exist. And that's why we say we're the only bottled water company in the world that wants to go out of business. As soon as the world's drinking water crisis ends, so will Humankind. There'll be no reason for us to exist anymore. Now, that's what Humankind Water is, and that's what we're all about, and that's all that we're ever going to be about. We take the money from sales and the donations that the bottle also generates, and we fund wells, and we fund filtration systems, and we fund rain catchment systems. So far, we've done a whole bunch in Haiti, in India, in Malawi, in Uganda, in the Dominican Republic, and we're about to do some in Ghana and some in Tanzania. And that's what Humankind Water is, and that's what we do. So, like Derek said, Walmart decides that they're going to have this contest. They call it Get on the Shelf. And basically what it is it's American Idol for products. And so we're going to enter and we're going to sing as best we can, right? And so they announced this thing. We literally took our entire 5-year plan and tabled it. And me, every member of our team and the board, we said, we got to go for it in this contest. If we win this contest, it will hit the fast forward button on everything we're trying to do by 5 years. So what happened is they crowdsourced to get everybody who wanted. Basically, all of America gets to vote, all the world gets to vote. Whoever gets the most votes wins, whoever wins gets a spot on Walmart shelves. Over 4,000 products entered in every category under the sun. Actually, 4,300 products entered. And we fought tooth and nail for the better part of a 2-month period and managed to use social media to our advantage. Word of mouth starts it, but then tens of thousands of people would vote via Facebook or via texting or both. And they narrowed it down after 2 months to 10 finalists, and we were blessed to be in that bunch. And then don't you know, the public votes again, and little old Humankind water won the contest. So, and now golf clap. I told you I'm a youth pastor, so I thank God for everything that happened. So that's what Humankind water is, and it was so exciting for us to win the contest. You know, 4,300 products, and it got us a lot of notoriety. And actually, the guy that finished second, he spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to curry votes, and we won the thing on a shoestring. They brought first, second, third place to Bentonville to go before the Saturday morning meeting and the whole big thing in the stadium, and then, you know, 7 billionaires sitting in the front row crying. And, you know, and it was, you know, it was kind of cool. He was ticked. He was not happy when he heard how little we spent. So I think part of the reason why these guys were nice enough to invite little old Humankind water to be here is because I do think there are some things that apply in the way we won the contest that you could put to work in making your product known. So far, based on the sales of the water and the donations it generates, we have been able to provide 500,000 people years of clean drinking water. That's our metric. What we do is we multiply the number of people served by the number of years that well or filter will last, as deemed by a third party. And so far we've been able to do 500,000 people years, and we've barely scratched the surface. They put us in 200 stores in the Middle Atlantic region. When we are nationwide, I said when, not if. Did you hear that? My board gets on me if I ever say if. They want me upside the head. Not if, when. When we are nationwide and a household name. Imagine the impact that we can do. Bottled water, love it or hate it, whether you like it, whether you think, whatever you think, is a $10 billion a year industry in America alone, $50 billion worldwide. And we're also adding other products that are like home rewashable filtration stuff and all of that stuff. So we're excited about it. But that is what we're passionate about. It really is. That's what wakes us up in the morning ready to go. And that's what sends me to bed at night wishing I had a little bit more energy to do a little bit more. I've met the people, and I know how grateful they are for what we're doing, and it affects me. And so that's what I'm passionate about. Let me just start with that. If you're not passionate about what you're doing right now, go find something else to do. Why? Life's too short. Don't do something that you hate. I've already heard so much passion on the part of everybody here. I just ask one question. So tell me about the product. Oh man, it's like they get going and they say how it started and it's exciting. Make sure you're passionate about what you're doing. And the other thing is, Derek and Matt Pfeiffer said, you know, I think some people want to hear what's the secret sauce. If you guys spent 1/50th of what some of the other competitors did to win the contest, how'd you do it? And so I would be happy to share some of those things with you. If they're not useful to you, forget it. You know, you're hearing a happy story. If they are useful to you, then put it to work. And you know, I'm just kind of the lead-off hitter here. I'm sure I'm going to glean way more ideas from all of you than you're going to glean from me this morning. 4,300 products, Humankind water wins. What was that cocktail of different things we put in? The social media, trying to play our own version of Moneyball, trying to make it go viral, nuns with guns. What was all of the things? You're wondering why they're there. Actually, the nuns with guns is kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing. What happened was a lot of Christian universities sort of glommed onto the idea and got behind it. And we were given for free, in some cases, radio time from some faith-based radio stations and that kind of thing. Not exclusively. We purposely didn't make the bottle preachy and beat people over the head just because I'm a pastor. I personally think that it should be every human being on this planet's concern. that 5,000 kids are going to die today for no other reason than they lack clean drinking water. So, I am faith-based at my core, but that doesn't mean everybody has to be to want to buy the water. The Nuns with Guns is one of the schools that really glommed onto us more than anybody else. It was a small Catholic private school in Pennsylvania called Immaculata, and these nuns got fired up about Humankind water. They wanted to share the story. I'm like, all right, Nuns with Guns, let's go. So that's what I lovingly call them. So what was our fighting edge? Well, the first thing should be pretty obvious, that in the realm of corporate social responsibility, we are CSR on steroids, because we give 100%. I haven't even heard of another product that's giving 100% of its net profits, except for that salad dressing by that certain movie star that you knew and loved, Old Blue Eyes, Paul Newman. Newman's Own. They actually do give, we checked them out and we tried to learn from them what we could. They give 100% of the net profits. And they fund some really good charities, but in my opinion, they don't say enough about the one-to-one relationship between you buying the product and where the money goes. And so what we tried to do is to make it as clear as possible. Okay, I get it. I buy this water here, and they get that water there. So we are CSR on steroids. Now, the other angle to corporate social responsibility for us is that we don't, because all we're going to do is give away 100% of the net profits, it doesn't matter to me who takes the bows. We don't care. The entire board, let them. Let's say we strike up a relationship with Krispy Kreme, and we'll let these happy signs of people thanking Humankind Water for the clean drinking water. Let's give those thanks and applause to Krispy Kreme, because they're the ones that took out whatever water it is they're selling now, and now they're selling Humankind. And every company wants a little boost in their own PR. We'll gladly give that away. So, and that's something that I think you should be thinking of too. You got to have corporate social responsibility in some realm in your company. And I just think it's counterproductive to try and hoard that. It seems like our natural instinct to want to hoard that and take the vows and get the, oh, look at all the good work we did. If you share it, it somehow gets bigger. I can't explain that. But if you share it, it somehow gets bigger. 2013 study on CSR says one thing is abundantly clear. The question is not whether or not companies will engage in corporate social responsibility, but how they will create real and meaningful impact. It is emphatically and indisputably a must-do in business. Be responsible with who you are as a company at your very, very core. 91% of global consumers, according to this study, this isn't my thought, this is theirs, will likely switch their brand to one associated with a good cause, given comparable quality, price, and size. And so, I'm a youth pastor. I'm reading youth ministry books. I'm reading my Bible. That's all I know. So what did I do when I got into this realm? I read Seth Godin. That's what you're supposed to do. So Seth Godin says this. He says it's all about differentiation. It's all about differentiation. How is your product any better than the other ones? There's got to be a gazillion different brands of bottled water out there. Our differentiation is, okay, I buy that bottle of Smart Water and I hydrate myself. I buy this bottle of Humankind water and I hydrate myself and a kid for the better part of a year. Hello? That's differentiation. We want our product to be the ultimate no-brainer. But obviously, like you, the issue is getting the story told. And that's why the contest helps so much. We figured out the mystery of going viral. Please don't let your eyes glaze over on this one. But everybody's curious. What makes that video go viral and what makes other ones not go viral? We actually had a conference call when we entered the contest, and we said every group needed to enter a video that was part of your entry process, and then made other videos to try and get votes. And we actually had a conference call and said, let's make this video go viral. And everybody on the phone's like, good idea. Yeah, okay, well, let's do that. Why don't we figure out how to turn, you know, grass into gold while we're at it. How do you do that? How do you make a video go viral? And we had, and I am not bragging on myself, we had a team, I call them this in love, they call themselves this. We had a team of geeks who were brilliant, and they actually did the math. They said, this is how it has to work. It comes down to your friends, friends, friends on Facebook. Isn't that interesting? It's not your friends who will pass on what you ask them to pass on and share that. It's not your friends' friends who you know their name and you've heard them, and it's like your cousin's hairdresser. Oh yeah, I've heard of her, but like we're not tight. It's your friends, friends, friends. It's people that you don't even know, you've never met, you wouldn't put a name to a face at all. That you have to be able to get them to further on your story, to share your video. And he said it's that third tier that becomes the key. So follow this. Don't let your eyes glaze over. You hate math, I hate math. We all hate math, but we have to do math because we're in business, right? Here's what it is. We needed to get 15%. The average Facebook user has 200 friends. So multiply everything here by 200. Some have less, some have more. 200 friends. So if we get just 15% of my friends and family to pass this thing on, and you know, the rest of my team, pass this thing on, that will be 30 people. Not that see it, 30 people that share it, that actively, enthusiastically pass it along. Well, that's a big number, 15%, because we're all so stinking inundated and we don't want to hear it and everybody's got a cause and you know, it just becomes white noise after a while. But if we can somehow get that next tier to be 5%, now that's 6,000. It's 30 times the next round of 200. 5% of them will be 300 people that pass it around. Times that 200 people will be, let's say we just get 2% of the next level to pass it on. Sounds like not a lot, but it is really, really hard to get 2% of people to pass on any message at that level. Multiply times their 200 friends, then you have 1,200 people actively, enthusiastically passing it on. And the next level, just 1%, will get you 2,400. And it will grow. It will grow incrementally if you have just anything over 0.5%, but it will grow exponentially if you get 1% from that point on. Much easier said than done. It looks really easy on that slide to do that, but you have to think long and hard and be very, very creative and proactive about how you're going to do that. And it means telling your story in a compelling way and very, very quickly, because people get so incredibly bored. Here's what our guy said on the phone, and he's brilliant and will you put us to work for you. You will see incredible benefits if you want to do that, because none of us is making a dime off the sales of the water. We've given away 100%. So what he said was, we got to make a video that hits people so hard in the first 5 seconds that it buys us another half minute or so. And it's got to be so darn compelling in that half minute that it buys you the remainder of 1 minute and 30 seconds max. That's it. Think about it for a second. You all sit here and you'll listen politely because we're sitting in the same room and we're face to face. But when we're separated by the anonymity of all the other stuff that's going on in your life, and you're in your home, or you're in your cubicle, or you're on the road and you've got your laptop, you're not going to have time to watch on anything that somebody passes by unless there's really a good reason for you to do that. So that's what we did. It kills enough kids every day to fill this minor league baseball stadium. The it is unclean drinking water. It's killing kids. I'm TJ Foltz, the president of Humankind Water, and we sell this delicious pure spring water for the sole purpose of diverting 100% of the net profits to bring clean drinking water to the thousands of children who are dying every day without it. We dig wells and we install filters that clean up nasty water in communities where folks are dying from contaminated water. Introducing a clean water source stops death in its tracks. It's amazing. We're saving human lives. Now listen, Walmart is having this competition. It's called Get on the Shelf. Basically, all of America gets to vote for whatever product they most want to see on Walmart shelves. You guys, if we can win this competition, the amount of money that we could move to the crisis would be phenomenal. We could save tens of thousands of lives, but we need your help. Go to humankindwater.org right now to find out how you can help us out. Pledge to vote, give us your email address, like us on Facebook, and please, please share the story with your friends. We can win. That was the video that we were able to have go viral. And part of it was getting as many people involved in that first 15% that we could. We literally solicited folks, we went to folks, we talked it up, we had face-to-face conversations, we went and we spoke to audiences of people to kind of mass them at the wall to bust it loose at the opportunity and make that first rung as big as it could be so that the other ones, and we knew it would be diminishing percentages every time, but if that first one was big enough and had enough momentum right out of the gate, it had a chance. I don't think it expanded sort of exponentially, but it did incrementally fast enough so that we were able to get it done. And we had to tell the story very, very quickly. My favorite and yours, Billy Shakespeare said, brevity is the soul of wit. Wit not necessarily meaning sense of humor. You have to say what you have to say really quickly in this fast-paced, busy but bored world that we live with. The word pithy is not something we use all the time, but it's that concise, forcefully expressive, said with vigor, substance, and meaning. I talked to a gentleman just this morning who's floating around here somewhere. He made a product. Oh, there you are. You have a product that you sell that adds biotic to a septic tank because we're using so many antibiotics. So it's killing the things in the septic tank that make it work correctly. Is that right? So the thought that popped into my mind, use it if you want to, ignore me if you think I'm nuts. But what popped into my mind is tell people it's like a probiotic for the earth. Boom. It's a probiotic for the earth. Everybody's taking them now, and they don't. I just don't think it will translate if I have to say, well, what happens is your septic tank develops all of these things, but with antibiotics and all, forget that. It's like a probiotic for the earth. Boom, done. Move on. I love Winston Churchill when he said this: if you want me to speak for 2 minutes, it'll take me 3 weeks to prepare. If you want me to speak for 30 minutes, it'll take me a week to prepare. If you want me to speak for an hour, I'm ready to go right now. Basically what he's saying is it takes a ton of preparation to say something very quickly. You see these YouTube ads where you can watch the video that you want to watch, and it gives you the little skip ad in 5 seconds. Everybody is learning that you got to get something compelling in the first 5 seconds. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's the world we live in. You can say, well, it shouldn't be that way. We should pay attention to one another more. Okay, that's the world I like to live in, but I live in the world that we do live in. And so that's what we have to do as business people. So if you give me 90 seconds to tell our story on some radio station, which I'm thrilled, and we always say yes, and of course free advertising, right? We don't even get to what's in the bottle. We don't even get there. We performed well at this Berkeley Springs, like this shishi, pinkies in the air, like black tie. Yes, a prestigious bottled water tasting competition. Yes, thank you very much. And we performed well there because the water's good. But that didn't even scratch the surface. That didn't even make it into there. Am I getting whacked? Yeah. 7 minutes. 7 minutes is an eternity. Haven't you been listening? Brevity is the soul. No, what we tell when we have any amount of time to tell our story is we tell about the people that are getting filtered water from a well as a result of this whole process. So we narrowed it down to when you buy Humankind water, you buy Humankind water. And on a shelf talker, the little thing that sticks out into the aisle, so to tell you that your product is there, we had to be even shorter than that. Humankind water saves lives. Boom. There it is. And that's what we try to show. You noticed in the video, it sounded, we tried to use the dialogue language that sounds like the spoken word and not the written word. I don't know if you noticed in there, I said, you guys, if we could, and that's sort of colloquial, that's sort of informal, you wouldn't use it in a business setting, but we wanted to have that kind of relatability with the people that we're talking to. Every word was as carefully chosen as it could be. It kills enough children in this to fill this minor league baseball stadium every single day. Well, that's compelling. What is it? That's the 5 seconds. That's the hook. Then we tell them that we give away 100% of the profits. We transition as quickly as possible. Now listen, Walmart is having this contest. Let me tell you about it. You guys, if we can win this contest, we'll save tens of thousands of dollars. Well, that's worth clicking share. That's it. And then I got you. And the last thing we said is to tell these people, you say, yeah, well, that's great, but you're never going to win. There's 4,300 products. You have to believe that you can win. In your business, you have to believe that you can win. We can win. We can win. We're going to win this thing. Last thing, well, the fourth thing, easily actionable steps that are clearly laid out. We told people what they had to do. These guys were the second place finishers. He spent thousands and thousands of dollars to get his product onto an online show called Epic Mealtime, but made everybody type out this web address in order to vote. Huge mistake. It probably lost him the contest. There are do follows and no follows on any link that you put on any of the social media that you use. We wrote our own short codes. We always made sure that they were do follow. We made them all different. We kept track of them and we metric them. We maxed out on the words, the ones that worked, and we quickly got rid of any ones that didn't work. If you're asking somebody to help you in your business, make sure you make it easy for them to do so. And the last thing was, we did it on a shoestring. This is a really good book by the writer Nancy Loveland, and what she talks about is how that in her experience in a 501c3 where you had to do everything on a shoestring, she learned how to translate that into her LLC, her corporate setting, so that she could do stuff very inexpensively. We have a story to tell that involves pictures and the kind of water that we have to drink. So we absolutely max out on that because it's free. Somebody else in 90% of the cases are taking those pictures on our behalf. Whenever anybody takes a picture of the product as they're getting ready for Thanksgiving or whatever, that becomes a Facebook post, and we have other people that are telling us what they're doing with the product. This wonderful woman had a yard sale in which she bought up every bottle on the shelf at Walmart and then put a drop of water on another human being every time somebody bought a bottle of water. She helped share the story. That's free help. We're so grateful. This guy took on Valentine's Day, took the bottles and made them into Valentines for people, and we put that idea out. And then the next year come Valentine's Day, we did that 2 or 3 days ahead of time so that people would be able to help us. Anybody that does any kind of artwork, we want that shared. Anybody, we had a youth group that made up t-shirts. Am I getting the hook in 5 minutes? All right.
You got 2 minutes.
I have 2 minutes. Good, I'm going to wrap up. So we got national press, we got local press. Maximize all of it when you have that opportunity. We barter with folks. The photographer wanted some notoriety for her work, so we got free photo shoots, and we gave her the credit on all of Facebook. And we borrowed ideas from others. You know, we had people that we saw that would dress up their product, so we put me at Halloween in a bottle of water, and we used it again the next year. I said I'm dating Fiji. It wasn't true, though, but yeah. So that is Humankind water. That's who we are. If we're from Philadelphia, so like we're all about rock. If you are interested in putting us to work for you, again, we take zero of the dollars. We're supported by other means, by churches and individuals who believe in this cause. We consider it more of a ministry than a business, although we obviously have to do the things that a business does to be successful, to generate sales and donations. But if you want to put to work the Brain Trust, who kind of got that thing going to get our story told, we'll be happy to do that with you. If you would like to help Humankind Water, either you know some outlet for sales, you know some way to help get the product known. Our mantra this year is nationwide and household name. Or if you know anybody that wants to donate just completely apart from the bottled water. I will be here the rest of the day. I'll be at the reception this evening. I've got a bazillion business cards. I want to talk to you, and I want to hear your story. Thank you for hearing out Humankind water. God bless you.